verifying that the units had been fumigated. The inspector also found mold in the units. Told the landlord that he had to take care of the mold, have it go away, and that he had to do an investigation to find out what the source of the humidity in the units was. So they were, the violations that were found were serious violations, and people had been living under those conditions for years and years and years. So the inspector comes in March. Then all of a sudden the landlord starts issuing notices of eviction, starts issuing notices of a huge rent strike. The families contact my organization, the Center for Community Advocacy, or CCA, in April. I agreed to be their attorney. We set up a negotiation session. The families got organized, they came together, they decided they would act as a group, because as a group they were more likely to find success. They came to our office, I agreed to represent them. We arranged for a negotiation session between the landlord and the families, and the families elected representatives to represent them during the negotiations. They showed up. The landlord showed up. We held the negotiations at my organization, CCA, in May. During that negotiations, I thought we had come to an agreement. The landlord agreed that he would withdraw all of the notices of eviction that he had set up. He agreed that we would do a joint inspection of the units so that he could find out what further repairs needed to be made. We acknowledged some of the repairs that he had already made, but we conducted a joint inspection that involved the tenants, the landlord, and CCA. And he said what he would do to fix the units. So we thought that the matter had been resolved. And that the matter had been resolved in a way that the family supported and in a way that the landlord supported. And then in late June, I got word that the landlord had issued 2 more notices of eviction. This is after we had struck a deal. One of the notices of eviction was to a family that he had agreed he would not evict previously. And then he imposed a huge rent strike unilaterally, even though he had told the families that he would negotiate over the rent strike, over the rent hike, because the rent hike was just not affordable. Families, most of these families are farm workers, they work in the field, they're workers, but they're low-income workers. They're struggling to make ends meet, and they cannot afford what amounts to $150 a month rent increase all at once. I'll repeat that. $150 rent increase a month all at once is what he's demanding that these families pay.